Hello, all you jurors. Welcome to another sidebar with me, JT. Wink. Told you that's going to become a thing. Today is a doozy of a case. Why? Well, sometimes you run into a case that was just kind of meant for you. It's still terrible, absolutely. I can be confident in the fact that this was made for sidebar while also recognizing the horrendous nature and impact of the crime. But doggone it, this case is a real Jodi Arias. I want to take a quick moment to say thanks to those of you who have subscribed, shared, become members, and more. It's thanks to you and folks like you that the 13th Juror community, that this channel has become as popular as it is. And we surely hope to continue on. Um, on my end of 13th Juror, I want to show you that we can blend true crime with humor, be informative while doing it, and be respectful of the victims' families, and friends, and the impact it has on them. So, just a reminder to everyone that sharing is caring. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. This helps to continue showing up in the search results and, being seen by more people. So, spread the gospel of the 13th Juror cult, a family cult. Let's just own it now, cult. All right, so that's enough of that silliness. Let's get into this case about Shayna Hubers. Now, here's your trigger warning. Sidebar sometimes explores detailed depictions of violence that some may find upsetting, triggering, disturbing, and it's certainly not appropriate for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. In the case of this, there are depictions of violence, murder, false accusations of domestic violence, and if this might cause stress, sadness, frustration, anger, or anything that's difficult, please turn this off and wait for the next case. 13th Juror understands. And you, first and foremost, must always take care of yourself. With that said, let's hop into Sidebar, Shayna Hubers edition. As an officer or a detective, I'm sure they've seen some absolutely crazy stuff on a daily basis. We've seen it in the trials we stream, day in and day out. As this world falls into what seems to be inevitable madness, they see the worst of it. But what do you do when a suspect has pushed you to the brink? And I don't mean the brink of your patience, but your professionalism. Shayna Hubers did just that, but not like you would expect. She didn't frustrate them. She surely did not anger them. She surprised them with behavior that is unlike anything that I've ever seen. What was it, you ask? Well, you're just going to have to wait for it. First, let's talk about the location of the crime. Give a little bit of environmental context, if you will. In this case, it's Campbell County, Kentucky. I'm hungry for soup, and I don't know why. Insert rim shot here. Campbell County was founded on December 17th, 1794, 2 years after Kentucky was created. The county was named in honor of John Campbell, an Irish immigrant who was a soldier, explorer, statesman, and one of the drafters of the original Kentucky Constitution. The county rests on the northern border of Kentucky and can be found just south of Cincinnati, Ohio. Fun fact, we all love those, the first courthouse was built of logs, but was eventually replaced in 1815 by a brick structure. The courthouse used presently dates back to 1884. As do the judges. I kid. Maybe. Who am I kidding? Let's get right into this case, the murder of Ryan Carter Poston. So let's talk about the defendant, Shayna Hubers, for just a bit. There's not a lot about Shayna pre-murder. She studied psychology at the University of Kentucky. Something I've kind of noticed about my own specialty, communication theory. Those of us that teach it aren't always the best at it. I think in Shayna's story, her study of psychology didn't seem to help her out very much. She did, however, graduate in 3 years cum laude. After graduating from the University of Kentucky, she started pursuing a master's degree in psychology, school guidance counseling, which is worrisome in and of itself. You'll find out why. She received multiple awards for academics, and she was extremely smart. Some of her friends said that she was actually a genius. She participated in drama and music, And in high school, she was always very dramatic and emotional when it came to boys. But enough of that. Enough of Shayna. Let's shift to the victim, Ryan Carter Poston. Ryan was born on December 30th, 1982, in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. He was born to Lisa Carter and Jay Poston and had three younger sisters, Allison, Catherine, and Elizabeth. When he was little, his parents divorced. He was very close to his father, Jay, and his stepfather, whom he looked at like a second father. He was so close to his stepfather that Ryan legally changed his middle name so that his name would read Ryan Carter Poston. During high school, he attended Blessed Sacrament School, International School of Manila in the Philippines, and International School of Geneva in Switzerland. He went to Indiana University and triple majored in history, geography, and political science. He then went to law school at Salmon P. Chase College of Law at Northern Kentucky University in Highland Heights, Kentucky, where he would obtain a law degree. On the date of his murder, he was supposed to have a date with Miss Ohio, Audrey Bolte. He was supposed to meet her for drinks and play pool, but Ryan never showed up. At the time of his murder, he was living in a condo in Highland Heights. He practiced mostly civil law and was extremely successful. Ryan and Shayna met on Facebook in 2011 because, that's a great way to get a relationship started. Ryan was 28 years old and an attorney. Shayna was 19 years old and a college student. Almost immediately, it appeared that Shayna was obsessed with Ryan, which, another great start. They dated on and off for 18 months, and it was a very up and down, volatile relationship. Because of this, Ryan attempted to break up with her many times, but she never took no as an answer. She never would let it happen, and Ryan never wanted to hurt her feelings. At some point, just like with everything, Ryan accepted that the relationship was, it was going too far. He sent a text to his cousin that read, quote, "This is getting to be restraining order crazy. She showed up at my condo like 3 times and refuses to leave each time." You see, if Ryan didn't answer the phone, she would call his office or randomly stop by. He sent her many, many texts asking her to please stop contacting him, and she never listened. Again, he kind of continued the on and off relationship because he didn't like making her feel bad. Shayna sent hundreds of thousands of messages. At the same time, she claimed that Ryan was emotionally abusive. Let me make one thing absolutely clear. There is absolutely no sign of Ryan inflicting any sort of abuse. And if you can see the texts over to your right, you can see a series of them that came one after the other. "I want to come to your folks for dinner. What time should I be there? Call me. Where are you? Answer me, Ryan. Do not do this. Do you know who I am? Text me now. I will not stand for this. Got it?" A lot of that. For every text she sent dozens. Um, just wild. Shayna also had her own key to Ryan's condo, and in addition, she also had an apartment in Lexington, Kentucky, about 80 miles away. But here's the thing. She would come over uninvited all the time. There were times when he had to leave his own condo and go stay the night at his dad's house because she wouldn't leave. If Shayna could not get Ryan's attention, she would lie to gain his sympathy. As one example, she told him she was put on blood pressure medication. This wasn't true at all. She just wanted sympathy. She herself texted a friend and said, quote, "He says he is only with me because I make him feel so awful when I cry." She texted another friend telling her that she and Ryan were going to a gun range. And she said, quote, "When I go to the shooting range with Ryan tonight, I want to turn around and shoot and kill him and play like it's an accident." She claimed he had thrown her into a headboard at one point that night, but she was not sure what they were doing for that to happen and that she could have died. Oh, good grief. I joined the ranks of Charlie Brown when I say good grief. She would log into his Facebook and block other women, and she claimed that he would call her hillbilly fat and tell her she needed breast implants. So let's clear up something right now. Ryan did have multiple firearms in the home, and he had a valid concealed carry license. It was a habit for him to set his pistol on the table when he got home. It is believed that Ryan told Shayna that he wasn't going to spend time with her during the upcoming weekend, and this started an argument between the two of them on the night of his murder, October 12th, 2012. At one point during the argument, Ryan locked himself in his own bedroom. He was captive in his own apartment. While he was locked in his bedroom, Shayna Googled how to unlock a door with a bobby pin, which allowed access into his bedroom. They continued arguing, at which point, as any rational person would do, Shayna picked up the gun and shot Ryan 6 times. Shayna says that Ryan threw her up against a bookcase. A point of note, investigators took photos of the bookcase she said she was thrown up against, and nothing was disturbed. There were many knickknacks and books on the bookcase that would have at the very least shifted if she was thrown against it with the force that she was claiming. She also claimed that Ryan grabbed the gun and aimed it at her, and she wrestled the gun away from him and shot him in self-defense. Of course, she tells a different story during her interrogation. Most folks who lie can't keep a story straight, hence why investigators and law enforcement will interrogate someone a couple of times and compare notes. Shayna called 911 10 to 15 minutes after the murder happened. Who did she call first, though? Her mother. But let's listen to the 911 call now.
Campbell County 911.
Ma'am, I killed my boyfriend in self-defense.
Okay, where are you at?
I'm at 12 Meadow Lane, Highland Heights, Kentucky. 41076.
Okay, 12 Meadow Lane. Are you in a house or an apartment there?
It's an apartment. It's apartment suite 10.
Is it Meadow, anything else? Meadow View or something?
No, 12 Meadow Lane. Ma'am, I killed him in self-defense.
Okay. Tell me again what unit you're in. It's not showing in my computer.
It's 10. It's unit 10.
Okay, you're at 12 Meadow Lane, unit number 10. Okay, hold on. What did you kill him with?
A loaded gun in the house.
Tell me where the gun is right now.
The gun is in the house.
Where at, though, ma'am? Tell me where it's at.
I laid it on the bookshelf.
Where at? Laying on a shelf?
On the bookshelf. It's
Where are you?
I'm standing about 10 feet from his dead body.
Okay, are you sure that he is dead?
He's dead, ma'am. He's completely dead.
Okay.
Completely
And how
dead.
long ago did you shoot him?
I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, not even that long.
10 or 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Shayna Michelle Hubers.
I'm sorry, what is it again? Tell me.
Shayna Michelle Hubers.
Hubers?
Hubers, H-U-B-E-R-S, Hubers.
Okay, what's your name again? Shayna or Shayna?
Shayna, S-H-A-Y-N-A.
All right, Shayna, I'm just having a hard time hearing you. Okay, all right. Now, you're going to stay on you're going to stay on the line with me, okay? Because this is what we're going to do. The officers are going to want me to stay on the line with you, so when they get there, they're going to want to know where that gun is, and we want you to get out safely, too, okay?
Okay, are they going to arrest me?
Ma'am, I don't know what they'll do. We're going to send them out. I'm going to stay on the line with you, okay?
I mean, I'm not a murderer, ma'am. I just killed him.
What happened exactly? What happened?
He beat me and carried me out of the house.
He did?
He beat me and tried to carry me out of the house, and I came back in to get my things, and he was right in front of me, and he reached down and grabbed the gun, and I grabbed it out of his hand and pulled the trigger.
Okay. All right. Do you need an ambulance? Have you been injured?
I'm not injured, ma'am. I was thrown into the side of the couch.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 29. He'll be 30 he would have been 30 on December the 30th.
All right. What's his name?
Ryan Carter Poston. He's an attorney in Cincinnati.
Okay. Have you had a history of domestic violence with him?
Yes.
Okay. And is this your gun?
No, this is his gun. He keeps loaded guns in the house.
So he slammed you into the couch, but you don't have any injuries?
I don't have any injuries. I was just very frightened. He's a lot bigger than me. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. I'm 5'8", 120. And he picked me up and was carrying me out of the house. And I said, let me get my things at least if we're going to break up. And he wouldn't let me get my things. And when I reached around to try to get my things, I can hear myself echoing in the background, ma'am.
It's just the phone system. The phone system has got a delay.
And he pushed me down from the door all the way to the couch. And when they come here, they'll see how far that is. He threw me across the room. And I was very startled. I was laying on the floor.
Okay. All right.
And I killed him.
Okay. Ma'am, this is what I want you to do. You're sure he's not, ma'am, you're sure he's not breathing at all?
Because I have to go touch him.
No, that's okay. They actually have someone that's outside almost right now, but I'm going to stay on the line with you, okay? When they tell me to, what I'm going to tell you to do is walk to the door with your hands up because we want you to come out safely, okay? So that's why I'm staying on the line with you. Ma'am, I'm just a dispatcher. I'm nothing but a dispatcher, so I can't tell you. My job is to keep you on line, make sure my officers get there safely and nothing happened to them, okay?
Ma'am, and then because he was twitching and I knew he was going to die anyway and he was making funny noises, I shot him a couple more times just to kill him because I knew he would have been.
I'm sorry, you said you shot him a couple more times after that?
Yeah.
How many times did you shoot him total?
Dispatcher's like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay, because he was twitching and you knew he was going to die, so you shot him again?
Enough to make sure he was dead because he was twitching so bad and I didn't want to watch him lay there and twitch.
So you shot him instead of calling 911?
Do what? Yeah, I did because I knew he was going to die anyway.
Okay.
It was pretty bad. He was like, he just was twitching when he was pretty much dead and I shot him just so he stopped twitching. Yeah, I did because I knew he was going to die anyway. He was like, he just was twitching when he was pretty much dead and I shot him just so he stopped twitching.
The weapon that she used was a Sig Sauer 380 semi-automatic handgun. The door was right next to her as well. If she was scared, as she claimed to be, she could have just walked out the door. Now, the night before the murder, Shayna and Ryan went to Ryan's mom and stepdad's house to watch the vice presidential debate. Honestly, I'm not sure why he was still spending time with her other than because he didn't want to hurt her feelings, and Shayna knew it. She used that to her advantage. Once again, as we mentioned before, Shayna claimed she was thrown up against a bookshelf. Once again, nothing had been disturbed on that bookshelf. In fact, the only thing that was disturbed was Shayna, to be honest, or TBH, as the kids say these days. I don't know. I'm too far removed at this point to care. Good Lord. Hubers claimed that Poston picked her up by the bra and pants and threw her 12 feet into the sofa. And if that happened, the bra would be damaged. But the police chief testified that none of the clips were broken, the garment wasn't stretched, ripped, or torn. She also claimed that she first shot Ryan in the head, and he was still coming after her, so she shot him an additional 5 times. This was also proven to be incorrect because Ryan didn't have any blood on the front of his shirt. If he would have been standing, gravity would have pulled the blood down the front of the shirt. You know, gravity. That pesky little thing. You'd think someone who is considered a genius would know the laws of gravity. In fact, investigators say that he was sitting when he was shot. His head fell onto the table in front of him, which is in this photo right here. This is the dining room. And he was laying on the floor when he was shot the additional 5 times. That makes it personal and vicious. But here's the real tell. The gunshots were in his head and in his back. If he was coming at her, you wouldn't be shooting him in the back. But let's be honest, she'd been stabbing him in the back repeatedly throughout the duration of their relationship. The ultimate shade of it all. Thank you, Latrice Royale. And again, she waited 10 to 15 minutes to call 911. So around the time of the murder, Ryan was being sued by a former law partner, and he was extremely tense. He took prescription medication to help with the stress of this, and he did text mean and somewhat threatening text messages to a friend while talking about his former law partner. The message never mentioned Shayna or was directed towards her in any way, shape, or form. The bottom line, there was absolutely no struggle in the apartment. Police spoke with neighbors who lived directly underneath Ryan. They heard the gunshots, but heard no signs of a struggle at all. They insisted that if there was a struggle, they would have heard it. If you thought you heard the craziest of this nonsense, you're not even close. Not even remotely close. Like, we're just scraping our way towards the sun. The interrogation was insane. I've never, and I mean ever, seen something like this. So, why not? Let's watch it, shall we?
And I just picked up the gun, and in the middle of him doing something with his arm or saying something crazy, shot him. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? You know. And he was laying with his face on the table, like twitching. And so I knew he was going to die a very slow and painful death. I knew he was already dead, you know, within the next 20 seconds. So in the next 2 minutes, I knew he was going to be dead. And he was in a lot of pain. He was twitching, he was moaning, but he was ultimately dead. And so I shot him enough times to kill him so that he wouldn't suffer at that point, which was a few more times. And I shot him, I think I shot him twice, thought he was completely dead, and he was laying there still twitching and making noises. And I shot him in the head. I probably should have left it there, but I knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Or have a very deformed face.
And you were concerned.
And I knew, oh no, he would have died. He was already dying. He was dying. But I just walked around the table and shot him where I knew he would die immediately. And fast. His obsession with guns killed him. You know, I would have never, I'm so Democrat, I would have never touched a gun in my life until I dated him. I'm not your typical murderer. No, I'm not someone that you see on death row. He said, you're just a hillbilly from Kentucky. And I am. I guess the hillbilly came out of me. I took that for myself. None of it matters now. It's the worst thing I've ever done my whole life. But I feel like it's sad that part of me doesn't feel bad about it. And that part of me does, you know what I mean? Part of me is like, he hit me, he threw me. You just don't treat a woman like that. I was in high school and she was a convicted felon. She told me that women that she went for cocaine. She told me that the women that she got along with in jail or prison were the women that were there because they had killed their husbands. And said that hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
slept so late until now. How sweet the sound that sings
Obviously, that was just a smattering of the interrogation. Oh, but it's audience participation time, and of course, this is a question you can answer to yourself. Why? Because this is recorded, and I won't be able to hear you. Feel free to talk to yourself, all while sussing it out. Why? Because, you'll be in the same mindset as Shayna Hubers, the Jodi Arias wannabe. You, my jurors, have seen a lot of true crime. How do interrogations usually go? What happens if the criminal or the accused asks for a lawyer? So let's find out what happened here, because it's going to take me years to really understand Shayna, and I'm pretty sure I never will. I'm also pretty sure that I'm okay with that. During the interrogation, here are a few observations. One, tears never came out of her eyes. She never showed signs of remorse at all. Not really. You'd think if she truly cared about him, there would be something. Shayna almost immediately, we didn't see this, but immediately asked for an attorney. I mean, good call. The officer correctly informed her that since she asked for an attorney, he can't speak with her. Now, usually, even the dumbest criminal would shut up. But not Shayna. It's almost like she had to explain herself away to prison. I mean, you know how you do something and your parents catch you, then you go too far with an excuse. If you would have just shut up, you may have. No, you wouldn't have gotten away with it, but you know what I mean, right? That hand in the old cookie jar. Shayna was unaware that she should shut up. She didn't care. She just kept talking and talking and talking. The officers, per protocol, asked her no questions. She just kept going. And the interrogation lasted 2 hours and 40 minutes. Was it because the police wanted the truth? Well, yes, but they couldn't ask those questions. It was because Shayna kept talking. She said that the gun was on the table and she picked it up, turned the safety off, and shot Ryan because she was afraid, which was a different story than the 911 call. She said that Ryan had pulled guns on her before, quote, as jokes. She stated that she shot the final shot because she couldn't stand to see him like that. He had apparently been twitching after she shot him. Keep in mind, she shot the final shot because she couldn't stand him like that. It has literally always been about her from the start. She didn't do it to put him out of his misery or anything. She did it because she couldn't stand to see him like that. Again, she claimed that he had thrown her into the headboard at one point and that she could have died. This reminds me of the time I knew someone who whined that their brother hit them when they just grazed his leg. Well, that was my 7-year-old talking about my youngest son. Congrats, Shayna, that's where you're at. Now, for those of you who don't know, I used to be a college radio show host. My best friend and I had a radio show called The Hey Ho Show. It was a combination of funny facts, stories, top 10 lists. Well, hey ho, let's bring back the list. So, here are the top 8 crazy things said by Shayna Hubers. Are you ready? I don't know if you are. Number 1, I have 2 papers due Monday that I haven't It doesn't matter now. Number 7. Am I allowed to have my phone in jail? Number 6. Do you get to take a shower in jail, or do you just get really dirty? Number 5. While dancing and snapping her fingers, I did it. Yes, I did it. I can't believe I did it. Number 4. While dancing again, I killed him. I killed him. Number 3. I'm so good at acting. Number 2. Said while laughing, I don't know if anyone will ever want to marry me if they know I killed my boyfriend in self-defense. And number 1. The top thing that Shayna said in this interrogation was, I gave him the nose job he always wanted. And then, of course, her singing Amazing Grace, which really not that bad of a singer. She had a decent voice, and it's really sad that she's now having to use it in the jailhouse American Idol, just like Jodi Arias. Speaking of jail, let's talk about how she got there, because ridiculous recognized ridiculous, and that trial was ridiculous as well. Well, you know what? Don't worry. We're going to get there. So Hubers was indicted for Ryan's murder on December 20th, 2012. On the 16th of January the following year, she entered a not guilty plea to the murder charges. 2.5 years after the murder, her trial began on April 13th, 2015. She stayed in jail because she could not post bail. I mean, her bond was set at $5 million. So, on the side of the prosecution, they argued that the reason she killed Ryan was that he wanted to permanently end the couple's relationship. And, well, she just couldn't have that. The defense attorneys utilized the argument that the shooting was in self-defense and that Shayna was actually a victim of domestic abuse. Boy, this sounds awfully familiar. As part of the prosecution's case, they put on text message evidence that showed Hubers' obsession with Ryan. During this trial, Carissa Carlisle testified. Carlisle was how Ryan met Shayna. She testified that her cousin was trying to avoid conflict with Hubers. She read a series of messages she exchanged with Ryan before his death. Ryan's stepdad, Peter Carter, said that the day before Ryan died, he confided in his dad about an upcoming date with Audrey Bolte, Miss Ohio USA 2012, and the second runner-up to the Miss America 2012 pageant. More importantly, he told his stepdad that he was afraid to tell Shayna about it. The date was set for the next night, which was when Ryan was killed. Audrey Bolte testified that on the night of the murder, she and Ryan planned to meet in Milford, Ohio, at a bar for drinks at 9:30, and that she was looking forward to it. But, and of course, Ryan didn't show. Now, during the trial, 3 former inmates testified for the prosecution. One of them was Cecile Miller. Cecile said that, she began by saying that Shayna was bragging about killing her boyfriend, and that she would give herself bruises and scratches so that Ryan's neighbors thought he was beating her. She told another, Hubers told another she wanted to plead guilty, but she couldn't because she had the IQ of Einstein. So she was going to plead battered wife syndrome. She also told an inmate that she gave Ryan the nose job he's always wanted. Hell, it sounded so good when she told the cops. So why not? Also, she would talk to her mom on the jail phone calls, singing and saying that there are worse crimes than murder. In another phone call to her mom, an inmate heard her say that the Poston family was rich enough to buy another son. Now, unlike Jodi Arias, Hubers did not take the stand in her own defense, which was probably a good thing. But she relied on her police interrogation tape, in which she maintained the killing was in self-defense. Because, that's a winning tape if you send it to America's Funniest Home Videos. Which I say to that, bad form, Peter. Bad form. Shayna Hubers was convicted on April 23rd, 2015, and sentenced on August 14th, 2015, to 40 years with the possibility of parole after 34. Hubers did what anyone would do. Do you get it? She appealed her conviction. However, in this case, her appeal was granted in August 25th, or on August 25th of 2016, which overturned her conviction. Why, do you ask? Well, you see, one of the jurors concealed a felony conviction, and Kentucky prohibits convicted felons from serving on juries. I don't know why they didn't know about this person. I don't know why they made it through everything. Here we are. So that was granted, and this new trial was supposed to begin on September 18th, 2017. This one was delayed for 4 months to January 26th, 2018. Then Huber's new out-of-state attorney asked for another 6-month delay so that he could prepare for the retrial. This was granted, and her new trial started on August 8th, 2018. Didn't think you were going to need a nap for this one, did you? Don't worry. I'll wait. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, good. Okay. So, in her second trial, I thought she wasn't the center of attention much. So, in the spirit of Jodi Arias, she gave extremely vivid details of her sexual relationship with Ryan. The defense played the same old tune saying that she was the victim of Ryan's abusive behavior. The jury deliberated for 5 hours total, and guess what? She was guilty of murder. No, say it ain't so. Audible gasp. She was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. She is going to serve 17 years before she can be considered for parole in 2032. Why doesn't that sound as far away as it should? She's incarcerated at Kentucky Correctional Institute for Women in Pewee Valley, Kentucky. You can see some photos of that location here. But wait, there's more. Remember when she said in the interrogation that she didn't know if anyone would marry her after she killed her boyfriend in self-defense? Well, June 7th, 2018, in a 2-minute jailhouse ceremony at Campbell County Jail, she married an inmate, Unique Taylor, in a jailhouse wedding. This is only but so important. Honestly, I mean, live your truth, but in the spirit of telling you all I know and the facts, Unique was a transgender woman who spent more than a decade in prison. Michelle Snodgrass, the Commonwealth attorney for Campbell County, said, quote, Hubers is married to an individual who spent 14 years in federal custody and who has now been picked up in Tennessee on another warrant about something else. Pretty quickly after their marriage, Unique was transferred to another facility, just as Snodgrass said, in Tennessee. 7 to 9 months after they were married, their divorce was finalized. Shayna told the judge they had not spoken since January 2019. The judge agreed that Shayna's life sentence meant that the marriage was irretrievable. But wait, there's more. Of course, there were interviews with former cellmates, one of which was Holly Nivens. She said, quote, Shayna used to tell me all the time that she deserved what she wanted and when she wanted it. She thought it was very important that I didn't judge her. But wait, there's more. I'm starting to feel like a QVC host here. 3 years ago, in 2020, Shayna appealed her conviction to the Kentucky Supreme Court. They denied that, so, mic drop, I guess. There's a little more. This is relevant. Why? Well, because a couple times during this script, I mentioned that she reminded me of Jodi Arias. Not only that, but currently on Night Court, well, that's the trial we're covering. So let's talk about this, shall we? Shayna Hubers was actually fascinated with Jodi Arias. She was fixated on her. That inmate Holly Nivens told Oxygen during, quote, Cellmate Secrets, the show, she actually shared a cell with Hubers, and she took notes on Arias during the trials and during the airings of her trial. She said, quote, when we were in jail together, Jodi Arias' case was a big thing, so anytime they would come on, she would just write down every single detail of the case. She was so wrapped up in her case, comparing herself with Jodi Arias. Where else are the similarities? I mean, these trials piggybacked off of one another. Arias was convicted in 2013, and Hubers was convicted 2 years later. In fact, the murder of Ryan Poston took place less than 3 months before the Arias trial began. Well, Hubers and Arias both tried to evade jail by claiming it was self-defense, despite the fact that evidence proved otherwise. In addition to that, the murders were both reportedly violent to an extreme degree and involved a gun and a knife, which is exceedingly rare. In addition, just like Arias, who showed some bizarre behavior after her arrest, which included, need I tell you, doing handstands and singing "Oh Holy Night" to herself when alone, Hubers did the same thing. She was, how do they say it? Bizarre. Shayna joked about giving Ryan the nose job he always wanted. She performed pirouettes, and she even sang the song Amazing Grace. Not only that, but they both had 2 trials. But hey, the similarities don't stop there. The last one is that they're both in prison for life. So I guess what I'm trying to say is pick your heroes wisely, kids. This is probably one of the most wild cases that I've ever written about. And every time I go back to this script, there's more to talk about. Honestly, it's the most relevant that Shayna Hubers will ever be. And that's the way it should stay. Just as Miss Cunningham said in Happy Days, sit on it, Shayna. But she's not going to sit on it, because, as one does, I found her Write a Prisoner page. Oh boy, y'all. What would it be without me telling you a little bit about this before we close the episode? So, let's take a look, shall we? We're going on an adventure. Oh, nobody's ready for this. Not one person. Never, ever. All right. So let's bring up Shayna's Write a Prisoner. And here we are. Shayna Hubers, number 279419. Meet Shayna, and you'll get a wonderful chance to see these photos go by. Hello, my name is Shayna Michelle Hubers. I'm a Lexington, Kentucky native and a 2012 graduate of the University of Kentucky with my Bachelor of Science degree. After making the Dean's List in 2010 and 2011, I completed an undergrad in only 3 years and was in graduate school obtaining my master's degree at the time of my October 2012 arrest and incarceration at only 21 years old. I attended college on a full vocal music performance scholarship as a 2008 alumni of Kentucky's prestigious Governor's School of the Arts, and am an all-state vocal musician. Music is very important to me. I play multiple musical instruments. Music has given me a productive and positive coping outlet while incarcerated, and I taught myself guitar during COVID. Why does she have a guitar? I am a tall and thin brunette standing at 5'9" tall and 115 pounds with lots of long, wavy, golden brown hair, big steel blue doe eyes, and a wide, bright smile on a heart-shaped face. It has been almost 10 years now that I've been locked away from the free world. I was tried twice on the same court case. I am praying for the best outcome as my case is still under review. I have hope and faith for the future. Kentucky is also an interesting Commonwealth state with ever-changing laws and sentences. I have grown much since the 21-year-old girl I was in October 2012. At the time of my arrest, I'm looking for someone who won't judge me by my past, but by the woman I've become. No one really knows or can explain what I've been through besides me. It can be hard to be judged by false conviction theories in the media used to obtain television ratings and a conviction and maximum penalty in court. I appreciate someone who can look beyond that to share intelligent conversation and hopefully build a lasting connection and friendship. I've been through a heartbreaking journey, but I haven't given up on meeting someone true, loyal, loving, respectful, non-judgmental, and devoted. In order to contact me, bleh, 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 again, all about her. Not only that, but she writes here, um, let's see. She says, no one really knows or can explain what I've been through besides me. What I've been through. What I've been through. Oh, poor Shayna. She's an Aries, a Christian, white, straight from Lexington, Kentucky. She was born April 8th, 1991. Marital status divorced. We talked about Unique Taylor. We heard about her brown hair and blue eyes. She started this profile in 2020. And the profile will end in 2026. Her earliest release date, September 11th, 2032. And she's been incarcerated since 2012, serving a life sentence. So there's your right a prisoner from Shayna Hubers. If you're interested, don't go looking. That's my advice to you. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to another Sidebar with me, JT. I appreciate you all. Go ahead and like this, hit that thumbs up button, leave some DNA on the button, and share it with your friends. Share it with some enemies. Share it with some people who are in crappy relationships and they need an example of why to get out. All those things. Why not? I really appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you so much. Thanks for showing up to the Sidebar. Remember, take care of yourself. Take care of your friends and family. And don't forget to smile. I'll see you guys in the next Sidebar. Bye, everybody.